Hi everyone, and this is day 4, and today I'm going to be sharing with you the linen 12 by 12 paper. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Teresa Brown and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and have been for 15 years. Before Stampin' Up, I had a scrapbook and card making shop, so I've been teaching for over 30 years. But I'm really happy to share our new linen specialty paper with you, and it's on page 136 of our annual catalogue. So without further ado, I'm going to bring you down to the workbench. Okay, sorry guys, just getting that around. So this is the linen paper here. We have lots of different papers on here. We've worked with the shimmer white paper, we've worked with our vellum, and we've also worked with our basic white cardstock. So I'm just going through sharing what inks go best with what papers and all the rest of it, so, and how to apply and what pressure to put on. Okay, so the linen paper is amazing. It is very different because it feels like fabric. It can go through the die cutting machine. I haven't actually put it through the die cutting machine at the moment, and it has, when you peel the back off, it is sticky. So it can stick down. I would use my Stamparatas when I'm actually stamping onto sorry, just pop this over here, onto the linen paper, for the simple reason is that you will want maybe to go down a couple of times, and I would use the StazOn black ink to cover the image. Okay, I'm just going to give my stamp a clean, and it has got StazOn on it, which I will take off later. But I'm just going to start placing this around onto the linen so we can do our practice on here with all our different mediums. So I'll just come down and ink that up. Just move that one out of the way. And you can sort of see if you were using a block, it would be very hard to get the pressure that you want to get it as dark as you want. So I definitely use the Stamparatas because you can go over it quite a few times. So you can sort of see now the image is starting to work its way through this fabric, because it's like a linen, it's like a fabric. So maybe press it and hold it a few minutes, and we'll start getting that really image of the flower. And you can sort of see that I've done it 2 or 3 times already. So down we go. So I definitely suggest when you're using the linen that you use the Stamparatas. You do get such a beautiful, more clear, crisp image here. I wouldn't use your blenders on the linen for the simple reason is that it would probably bleed out, and I wouldn't do that. So we've got our first flower on there, so let's work with that. So we have a new medium, and that's the soft pastels assorted, and I just feel that these are going to be fantastic for the linen paper, because years ago in my shop we used to have soft pastels, and we had a pad that was similar to this fabric or this paper. It feels like fabric, but it's actually paper, specialty paper. So I'm going to try this. So this is the first time I've actually tried this on here, so we're going to see what we come up with. So I'm going to try a little bit of the yellow in the center. And I'm just actually blending with my finger. I know that's probably not the best thing to do, but it is what I'm going to do. And then we're going to choose a colour. Will we go blues or purples? Or the greens? Let's go the blue. So I break my crayons when I get them because I always like a shorter and a bigger piece for when you're using to do blendings and that. And I have got a class coming up with different techniques that you can use with your chalks. Now the hardest thing is keeping your hands clean when you're using chalks. So I'm just going to come through and do very tiny little strokes. I think you'll get a very different type of flower doing it in the chalks. And I'm going to bring another colour through to blend in a minute, but I just wanted to share with you how the chalks really work beautifully with the linen paper. This really is a specialty type paper. It is new. I was very excited to see some new papers in there. Especially something like this, because this is, I really think, is a bonus for working with the chalks. Like I said, I would not use your blenders on here. I would feel that we would, it would bleed. So we're going to try that in a minute. I haven't tried anything on here, but we're going to try all the mediums on here. But I just wanted to have a go at doing this flower. And chalk work's always funny because it looks like a bit of a cluster to start off with until you actually come through and do a bit of blending. Now you do have to make sure that you have clean hands, and I know it makes it really hard. So you're only really touching exactly where you need the chalk work. And you're going to probably need to do a few coats on different ones too. But we're going to come in with this colour as well. So you're definitely going to have to work this through, but I think you're going to get a beautiful technique once you start working with your pastels and the linen paper. Okay, so you can sort of see that you can start blending your pastels and that around. So definitely pastels work really well with the linen paper. I can see some great cards coming up with your linen paper on that. Okay, so let's stamp out another flower. We'll have to do that on the Stamparadas as well. Oh. Come down, thank you. So I'm just going to pop our magnet there. I'm going to just take this off and I'm just going to pop it up a little bit. And I'm using the Stays On again. I might have to clean my stamp in a minute. When I'm using Stays On, I don't worry about, I did move that. sure if this one's going to be okay because I moved it. It's okay. It'll give us a great idea. So I'm just using that alcohol, ice cool alcohol, to clean this off. You can sort of see it. And I'm just going to rub it on my chamois and get most of that off. Just choked myself with it. Very strong. Sorry about that. A bit strong. Need a bit of the water. So I have moved the stamp a little bit, but we can still have a run with this. So let's try our wet and dry pencils and see how they go. This is working quite well, excuse me. Depends on the depth that you press on the linen paper too. Like, I'm pressing quite hard here, like a lot harder here. So you get that depth where I'm pressing a little bit lighter here. So I think pencils could be quite all right. Let's see what happens when we add the blender to them. Oh, that just flows so beautiful. Actually, that just blends in really beautiful. Oh, I like that. Pencils and blenders work really well as well. I wonder how the blender works with the chalk. Oh yeah, it works really well with the chalk as well. Look at that. You can sort of see I can see that really coming up really lovely. So yes, I can see the blenders work really well with the chalk, and they work really well with the pencils. Okay, let's try our marker. These are our Stampin' Right markers. Let's see what happens when we use one of these on here. Ooh, not too bad. We'll use the blend on that. That bleeds a little bit. You can sort of see it bleeding. Can you see it starting to really come out around this? It's really bleeding back. So the water markers would give you a bleeding effect. So you would have to be mindful it's sort of now coming out right around here. So it's actually bled out, where the chalks down here and the pencils haven't at all. They haven't bled. I still think with these, I would have thought these would have bled, but they might not because they're alcohol. Oh yes, you can see that straight away. You'd have to be very mindful if you're using your blends, because you can see just by putting just a dot, it spreads really, really quick. So I'd be really mindful about blends. I think you'd use your blends up really, really quick. Okay, so let's come in with pencil again. Let's come in with the blue up here and see what happens this time when we use the Wink of Stella pen over it. Okay, so this is the Wink of Stella pen. Let's see if we can use that. We'll try it on the pencil here. And you get that beautiful glitter. Yeah, that works really lovely on there. And let's see if it works well on the chalks. Yep, it works really well on the chalks as well. Okay, So, oh yeah, that's really lovely. I don't know if you can see that. But pencils definitely, Wink of Stella, your blender, definitely works really well, excuse me. And I wouldn't use your markers or your blends unless you were really maybe if you're advanced you could probably do that, but you would have to just do it very mindfully with just dots, with just little dots, because you can sort of see how it already spreads by just placing it already spreads. So you wouldn't be colouring, you would be just placing tiny little dots for it to bleed out. So definitely a different side. Oh, sorry. My nose is wanting to run. That's what happens when you have the flu a little bit. Okay, so we haven't tried the water Aqua Painters on here, so let's have a go at that. Let's have a go at just doing some lines on here and having a go of the Aqua Painter. So this is the pencil. I haven't got a really wet Aqua Painter at the moment, so let's just pump some water through there. Okay, you can sort of see now that the water's coming out. It's not going to blend, you're just going to get exactly what you've put down there, the lines. Which, to me, no. Definitely pencils, chalks. I'd definitely go chalks, blenders, pencils, and the Wink of Stella pen. I think you will get great coverage out of all them with this linen paper, and I'm quite sure that this linen paper, can't wait to make some cards with it now. Oh, excuse me. I'm sure it's got tacky on the other end. I'm just going to peel it off. Yeah, it's already got glue on the other end. Okay, so that's already sticky. So you just peel the back off, and then we're going to stick it down on a card. Oh, so yeah, you already got your sticky on the back. And then, yep, stick it onto your card. Which would be really great for running it through the big shop, the die cutting machine, I mean. Because your pieces were already, like if you were doing alphabets or things like that, would already have the glue on the back, so that would be really great. Now the only thing we haven't really tried is our sponging technique on here, so let's try that. So in with the ink, and just come around with our brush. Yeah, I think you'd get a really nice technique with the brush here. Yeah, really, really nice. Okay, so that works really well. When you get new products, it's really good to have a play, and I always do a little sample book up, and I keep that, and these will all go in the sample book, because I'll write what's good and what's not good, so you can always look back on it. Okay, so I am running a sample class at the moment, a technique book as I call it, and these will go in the technique book. So you can always look back and read your notes. That looks really good. I can see that working. So let's try a chalk on here, just using the side of the chalk, and see how we go. Yeah, I can see this working really well as well. So you'll get that nice different effect I wonder if you had to blend that. Let's blend one side. If you blend one side, it will come a little bit probably more mushy, so I would let it just dry naturally. And when you're drying things down, let's just try a little bit more on this. I'm just going to try scraping with some colours here, and we'll see how we get what we get here as well. So this is if you wanted to do like a sky type thing. You know, Milky Way is what I'm trying to think of, you know, up in the sky. Get those few colours happening in there. So I'm just using the scissors and just coming over with some colours. Now to get the colours to stay like that, I would use a piece of vellum. Place the vellum down on top of this and then get your bone folder and then just rub it and see what happens here, whether it stays in, because it's going more on the vellum. So it's not going to stick to the linen paper like that, okay? So you're not going to get that effect through the linen paper. But let's just try it on the back of a piece of white card and pop that down there. And no, it's just going to stay on the vellum like that. Okay, there is a magic way that you can do that, but that will I'll share that later on. But not on this. It's not going to work like that. Okay, so you can sort of see that the linen paper is quite lovely to work with, but if you say you had all your colours mixed there, you could use your Glimmer Winkler pen. I'm just going to and add some sparkles through there. It'll dry. Okay, so that'll give it a different look again. Okay, so linen paper is quite interesting, isn't it? Because you've got the sticky back. Okay, so you can peel the back off. So definitely linen paper, definitely with your pencils and blender pen. Your Winkler style works alright on that, and then your chalks as well. Your chalks go really well. So this is what I would use with the linen paper at the moment, and stays on ink. And I would definitely use your Stampin'Up so that you can get that more solid image when you're stamping. The Tasteful Touch is the stamp set that I used today. I hope you enjoyed this quick little sample today, but yes, it's great. And the other thing that worked really well was our blender with our ink. So they worked really well on the linen paper. So I hope you have fun. Until next time, God bless, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.